Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Serena if you guys are new here. And today, I know what you're already thinking if you read the title of this video. Probably thinking,
Serena, you just put your shelves together and you're already doing an unhaul.
And the answer to that is yes. I am doing an unhaul because I didn't realize on my original shelf how many books I had because I did 2 rows of books. And now that they're all spread out and I could see all the titles, there are a very large portion of books that I've either been gifted or sent advanced copies of that like I didn't necessarily ask for, but they were still sent because I was part of the program. They've been sitting on my shelf for at least 6 to 8 months to even a year, and I just don't see myself getting to them. So I was kind of like, well, why am I holding on to them if I already know that I'm not interested after reading the synopsis? I just wasn't expecting this book to come. It's not on my radar. Why am I holding on to it? So I figured it would be good to do a little unhaul, I guess we can call this, and go through all the books that I will either be donating or selling on Pango Books, or yeah, those are my 2 options. Donating to the library to make sure that they actually like get to a different person that wants to read them, or go on Pango Books. But if they don't sell within like, I don't know, like a month or so, I'm probably just gonna donate them as well because I've tried Pango Books and nothing really sells. So that being said, I'll just put my link in the description box if you do want to check out my Pango Books. But without further ado, let's get into the books I'm unhauling and why. And some of them I know like absolutely nothing about, and then some of them like I kind of have a gist of, like, you know, what the vibe is with them. Let's just jump right into it. Right now, 4 hardcovers. That was a hard one to say. There's more hardcovers, but these are the ones that I can actually like grab. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paperbacks and everything that's in a stack. This first book, I can't show you the cover because it's kind of like, I don't want to get flagged on YouTube. It's called Just by Looking at Him by Ryan O'Connell. I don't know how I ended up with this book. Not really something that I'm super interested in. I guess I could read the back without showing you guys like the cover. It says, Elliot appears to be living the dream as a successful TV writer with a dotting boyfriend, but behind his Instagram filter of a life, he's grappling with an intensifying alcohol addiction. He can't seem to stop cheating on his boyfriend with various workers, and his cerebral palsy is making him, yeah, I'm just gonna stop there because it kind of like just not things that I want to read about in a book. It gets good ratings from what I'm seeing. So this isn't really like a book that I would gravitate towards or pick up, which is why I'm offloading it or deloading it or whatever you want to call this. That's the first one. Next, we have, it's called The Inheritance of, I'm gonna really butcher this, I'm so sorry, Orcadia Divina. This is the cover of it. I don't really know what this is about. I think it's all like family. I'll just read the back. The Montoyas are used to a life without explanations, but when their matriarch, I'm just gonna say Divina because I don't know how to pronounce the first word, invites them to her funeral, they hope to learn the secrets that she has held onto so tightly their whole lives. Instead, she is transformed, leaving them with more questions than answers. So it's kind of got like maybe a little bit of a magical aspect to it. Just not really vibing with it. It's not on my radar. Probably not gonna get to it for a while, so I don't really want it sitting on my shelf. The next one I have is Blind Tiger by Sandra Brown. I received this as an ARC back in March. This was one of the first ARCs I ever received actually. While I'm sure it's a great thriller and I've seen great things about Sandra Brown, again, it's just another one that I don't see myself getting to anytime soon, and I feel like somebody else would really enjoy this more than me. I've been very selective with my thrillers lately just because I'm having a hard time really getting gripped into one. I've kind of been reading the same trope over and over and over again, and it's giving me like a bad taste in my mouth as far as thrillers go. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of feeling about thrillers. I just don't see myself getting to this anytime soon, so I don't want it taking up space on my shelves. The next one is Beyond That, the Sea by Laura Spence Ash, and I'm sure this is also a great one, just not something on my radar. I have a lot of books I want to get through this year as far as like my physical TBR goes between my 2 shelves. It seems like this is more of like a family history type of thing, takes place in World War II, 1940s. Just don't see myself reading it anytime soon. Next, we have The Light Pirate, which I'm a little conflicted about because I saw this was a book of the month pick and I just haven't seen too much about it on Bookstagram. So this is kind of like in my maybe pile that I'm going to either donate or sell. I think I'm going to hold on to it a little bit longer because it did just come out. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this one. It seems pretty interesting. So the quick synopsis is Florida is slipping away as devastating weather patterns and rising sea levels wreak gradual havoc on the state's infrastructure. A powerful hurricane approaches a small town in the southeastern coast. So I might enjoy this. So I think I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. I'll let it sit for a little bit longer. This one is Prominence of Desire. It's a Barcelona memoir. It seems pretty interesting. I just don't think I'll be reading it anytime soon. Same with this one. This one's A Sky of Infinite Blue. This is another memoir. I'm not really a memoir galley, and if I am, like, I would rather get the audiobook and listen to it because 9 times out of 10 the author also does the narrating and I'd rather listen to them like actually tell the stories. Next I have The Beloved Girls by Harriet Evans. I tried to get into this book and I just couldn't really. I held on to it just in case, like I wanted to give it another shot. It's not really how it's going with this. That's why I'm offloading it. Next we have David Baldacci. It's called Dreamtown. I had requested this from a publisher when I had the opportunity to, and I was in the mood to read it then. Haven't gotten to it. Just not something that I'm looking to read right now. The next one that I have is The Turnout by Megan Abbott. I bought this because I was like, oh, like I'm a dance teacher. Like let me read this. You know, get that aspect in a book too. Not really interested in this. I didn't read like the synopsis before I purchased it. I kind of just said, oh, like dance. Not really a fan of this, not really interested in it. The next one I have is also a dance one. It's called Ballerinas. Even the Target sticker is still on it. That's how you know, like I haven't touched it. Just not really like a mood or a vibe to read this one. And the next one that I have is New York, My Village. Again, just bought this because I was like, oh, like it takes place in New York, like awesome. But after reading the synopsis and having it sit on my shelf for, I kid you not, a year, not really into it. Okay, so that was that pile. Now I need the pile that my camera is sitting on. So let's move angles and then go through the rest of these books. Okay, so I didn't really have to move too much because it ended up working out. Like the books that we already went over, I just swapped them out. All right, this next stack. This stack is composed of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 hardcovers, 1, 2, 3 paperbacks, in case you wanted to do anything with that information. The first 3 books are Book of the Month books, the only 3 Book of the Month books that I've actually read, I think. I may have sold 1 or 2, but my goal for 2023 is to not have any Book of the Month books pending. So what I usually do with these, if it's not like a stellar 5-star read from Book of the Month, I end up selling it just because, I don't know if I'm gonna be keeping my membership. I don't love the way they look on my shelf, so that's my issue with that. Anyway, the first book that we have is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I have mixed feelings about this book. The longer I've sat on it, the more I think about it, the more mixed feelings I have. This was the first book that had the, how do I word this without like spoiling it? The first book that had the apartment or complex thriller trope, I don't know what we want to call it, or a setting where a lot of thrillers have this, so I'll just say it, where everybody lives in an apartment complex and it's kind of like figure it out. That was this. Now every book I read after this that has that, I always think back to this because it was the first one I read. So not the biggest fan, but it was good in the time that I did read it. Next we have Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I thought this book was really good when I did read it back in like January or February of 2022. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm excited to read more Rachel Hawkins. I have one of her other thrillers on my shelf behind me actually, and I want to read her new one that just came out called The Villas, but I don't see myself holding on to it. That's why it's in my sell pile. The next one I have is The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This one, while it was a good thriller, it wasn't like suspenseful or anything really like that. It was just like a very fast-paced like mystery kind of thing, and I thought it was a little confusing because there was a lot of characters, and I actually had to draw out a character map. I don't know if it's still in here. I may have taken it out because I did lend it to a friend and I didn't want her to see my character map because it would spoil a lot. I think I read this in March and it was February's Book of the Month pick, or maybe I read it in February. I mean, it was solid. I just don't think I would ever reread this and probably have better thrillers to recommend at this point. The next book that I've been trying to get rid of since I've read it, to be honest, and it's a very bold statement of me, is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Just No. I didn't like this book. I didn't like a lot about this book. So, I'm trying to get rid of it. I have it listed on my Penguin Books, but nobody's picked it up. So, gonna give it maybe a couple more weeks and then probably just donate it. Do I think I'll read Ollie Hazelwood in the future? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. I didn't mean to throw that hard. The next book that we have is Renegade by Nancy Allen. I received this as an ARC. I did enjoy it when I read it, but it's not something I would recommend. Like, I honestly forgot that I read this book. If you're into like court setting, lawyers, thrillers, like crimes and stuff like that, pretty good. But again, I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody, so I'm not holding it on my shelf. The next book. This was my first take at magical realism with this book, and another one that I didn't like. I don't know why I rated it as high as I did. The Midnight Library. I did not like this book at all, which is why I am offloading it. I just felt like the main character was very ungrateful with all the options that she had. And yeah, that was like actually one of the first books that I read and recommended on Bookstagram. So I didn't like that book. Next, Always in December by Emily Stone. I actually did really enjoy this book, but holiday reads are hard because I don't want holiday reads sitting on my shelf all year long unless like I really, really loved it. And this was like just okay. I wasn't like obsessed. That's what I have to say about that. Next, we have, actually I'll save these two towards the end. Next, we have Harlan Coben, The Match. I actually really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it like 4 or 5 stars. I thought it was really good. And there's another book that can be read before this book, but this also acts as a standalone. I just don't think I would really recommend it or reread it, which is why I'm not holding on to it. Next, we have The Maid by Anita Prose. This I had very mixed feelings on. It's a cute mystery, but without the intensity, and that's all I have to say on this one. I read it for book club, like for a different book club that I was a part of. Like, I thought it was good, not great. Not really gonna keep it. I haven't recommended it to anybody either. The last 2 books that I have are still in my maybe pile, like the Light Pirate. It is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and Atomic Anna by Rachel Barenbaum. The only reason why these 2 are in my maybe piles is because I DNF'd them. So the reason why is just because I really could not get into this, and I know I've seen so many people say that like it takes a while, you have to push through. But I gave it 100 pages, and 100 pages is my typical rule, but I know there's some books on my TBR that I'm actually looking at that definitely will take more than 100 pages, and I trust the people that said that. So this one, I haven't decided whether I want to like restart it and maybe try to read 100 pages in one chunk, because I think I was reading like maybe 4 or 5 pages at a time, and I just couldn't piece the story together. So that's this one in my maybe pile. Then the last one I have is Atomic Anna. While I was enjoying this one, while I read it, there was just other books that I was wanting to prioritize. Hadn't really seen this one on Bookstagram at all, and still haven't. So yeah, that's all I have for this one. So that was pretty rapid fire. Those are all the books that I will be offloading, and then my 3 little maybes that are in my maybe pile. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, wondering why I am offloading my shelves already even though I just set them up. But it's because I want to make room for more books and trying to really focus on my physical TBR this year, my physical books and what I have. Hopefully get some audiobooks for the physical books, because I've been really enjoying also like listening to the audio as I read the physical book. I feel like it's just going a lot faster. That's my little side tangent. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys know what to do, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video with me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.